Hi everyone, hashtag CDC whistleblower and hashtag be one less victim of a mandate, which is where bottom line is all of our eggs are in one basket right now as we fight the mandates that emerged, quote unquote, out of nowhere in the state of California, Washington, Oregon, Texas, you name the state that had more than just the medical exemption, and they spontaneously combusted with legislation and people behind that legislation. So we have a dual track that we're working on. We are working on a 28th Amendment to the Constitution for health freedom, where your right to seek and refuse anything associated with health cannot be infringed upon. That should be scaring the bejeebus out of them because it's coming. On the other track, we have a whole slew of people that we need to be educating on Twitter and on Facebook. All of the people who have put their names behind these pieces of legislation designed to limit parental choice, despite the fact that when polled, between 80 and 90% of Americans think that there should be a choice when it comes to vaccines, they're still pushing these mandates. We need to push back. But people, it doesn't help when you get frustrated and immediately turn them off. There's certainly an upside to when these people act like total idiots, like the one in Oregon. We'll never be able to live down the fact that she made our points perfectly. If you want to look at that, it's tinyurl.com/Oregon hypocrisy. You can't live down Dr. Pan saying that he thinks it should be parental choice. That's tinyurl.com/parents decision and parents decision number 2. I'm here with Candace Estave at CES Dave. If you want to see how this is done, if you go to @CES Dave, you can just follow her lead. But I have this particular meme that we found up because the most important thing you can do is ask people for the studies that convinced them of the safety that they feel so confident about. You ask, you beg, you plead. You're trying to convince somebody, please, is there just any way you can help get me something that I can help convince the person I need to convince so that, we can vaccinate this person. But the other thing is you need to provide them with a storyline of how this information all goes together. And that's why this meme is so valuable. Because there's building blocks to this insanity that is the idea that our vaccines are safe. And the building blocks are so far away from the foundation that you have to bring them back to the foundation. And the foundation is that half our kids are sick, 1 in 2, and we've never tested Vax-Novax. And then you go from there. And our Supreme Court has said they're unavoidably unsafe, and we've paid $3 billion. So there's all of these things that when you put them together, as long as you're back on the foundation, you can start to bring them to your side, which isn't really what we're trying to do with these legislators, but we're trying to do that around the people that are hanging around this concept. So Candace, do you have anything to say about what's been working for you?
Well, all those people are over there at SB 277, and there's a lot of people over there on our side. And I'm getting some people that are in the health freedom circles that I've never heard of. So this is really good because I've got almost 1,400. I'm 5 from 1,400 followers right now. Okay, and so it just exploded in the last few days.
So I just want to go over from a strategy perspective. Oregon is going to be
hashtag SB277.
Well, let me get to that in just 1 second. I want to finish. So let's go back to Oregon. We can't forget about Oregon because right now this particular legislator was so unbelievably ridiculous in her behavior that it alone is probably gonna bring down the Oregon bill because it's just so flagrant and ridiculous. And it's slash Oregon Hypocrisy and Oregon Hypocrisy too. But you should definitely go help them out with the Oregon stuff. And then I can't remember which tag that goes with, but this one is really interesting, this meme that floated around, because there's multiple fronts to fight this whole thing on. If we just look at the obvious front, which is we have legislators that have the power to make a decision, and if they didn't have the will to do it, they wouldn't have brought it forth. So we have to make something motivate people differently. And the pure power struggle is not going to be where we're going to win. Where we're going to win is when we shift the argument to something that they had not thought of. And this makes me think of that. I'm going to read it. In the absence of research that includes the study of vaccinated versus unvaccinated long-term outcomes in children, and in the absence of research on the current vaccine schedule outcomes in both healthy and immunocompromised children, and in the absence of a way to determine which children are at risk, our current vaccine schedule is medical experimentation and covered by the National Institutes of Health guidelines, including the NIH guidelines / Nuremberg Code / Helsinki Ethics / Belmont Report / CIOMS law, all of which apply to medical testing, all of which require informed consent and administered by doctors who have mandated their ability to exercise their right of informed consent. tinyurl.com/AMA consent. So if any of these bills fail, or rather the mandates go in, and we're down to the medical exemption, the fight might very well be in the doctor's offices, where we have a packet of information that parents come in with, and by the time the doctor's done with that appointment, they recognize that they have two options. Either they sign that medical exemption for that parent, or they jab that kid and they just nullified the federal protection that they were umbrellaed under, because it's all predicated on informed consent. And that might be a loophole in all of this, with them talking about loopholes, which is the most infuriating thing of all. Here's the medical freedom, although it's going to be health freedom, the right of the people to seek and refuse health, new word there, for themselves and for their children shall not be infringed. Okay, so now let's go over to SB 277. And I can't stress enough that we just don't make progress when we just get nasty with these people. Every once in a while it plays out that they make some huge mistake, but most of the time I don't think that it does. So SB 277 is the name of the bill in California. They made the mistake of letting it drift off their own personal pages. So now these hashtags are fair game, and we're pretty good with fair game. So again, you just want to bring links to these people with education as much as humanly possible. But this is where the action is going to be on hashtag SB 277 and on hashtag measles truth, hashtag vaccines, hashtag health, hashtag CDC whistleblower, hashtag B1less. Sorry, I'm exhausted right now. I went to a late show. What else do we have? Candace, talk to us.
Well, we have all kinds of memes. I've tweeted all the memes that I've found. They have great links. So be sure and tag somebody. Put a link in there. There's so much information. And how about that Vax rap, anti-vax rap? That was so good.
Hysterical. Maybe we should. Oh, this one was interesting. This found the CDC has added skip shots and wait until well to official guidance, while simultaneously giving the Hep B shot to preemies on day one. And you can go to /Hep B on day one. And here's the question: the logical person or the grandmother would ask, how could you possibly think that a 12-hour-old preemie that's 1 pound is,
or even 5 pounds, 7 pounds?
Well, but
I mean,
But my point is, when they're a preemie, then they would certainly be considered in the unwell category.
Right.
Not yet well.
Fragile.
But they don't do that. They don't distinguish. When a baby's born, they just start poking them with the shots. If your baby gets a shot on day 1, they may never be well again. You know what I mean? It's insane. And so this is the cdc.gov site, and it's really sneaky, as in this is what they give you as far as concerns about vaccines. And rather than really telling you about concerns, they say who should not get vaccinated, and then they list each one individually. And when I was looking at it, I was shocked to see that each one individually has, if you're not feeling well, if you have a moderate severe illness, your provider might ask you to wait. Minor illness such as a cold may be vaccinated, but children who are moderately severely ill should usually wait. And this is new. They did not say this a while back. Anyone who's moderately severely ill at the time should wait. So this is new and interesting that they're adding that. So, but bottom line, lots going on at CDC Whistleblower still. We're still maintaining a huge presence with tons going on, and the fights for winning the war on these mandates is happening both on Twitter and on Facebook. This one came around. We love ourselves from Kathy Blanco. This one's a great read. We love this. You can still watch Bot, the movie, and share that with other people, which is /WatchBot. The Oscars were denied. That's a great one with Cinef. There's just so much now. It's crazy that on the flip side of this, they're talking about mandates. It's just absolutely insane. So, again, try to educate logically as much as possible, taking them. Don't let them keep you in their argument, which is everything's been tested. Instead say, Novak's never tested, and our kids are sick, instead of playing on their home court. So anything else last minute, Candace?
Don't get discouraged. We're going to turn this whole thing around. We're going to, we're not stopping. And as I said before, these guys are 9 to 5. We have heart, and we're in it. I mean, we're there, like right now. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock on a Sunday night.
I know.
And here we are.
We didn't get it done earlier. Bottom line, truth will prevail. Just always keep your eye on the ball, which is with everything you ever do with this project, just you want there to #be one less person who makes the mistake of getting the shot without being educated. We're not trying to save, an entire country that just got blasted with a tsunami. We are trying to save the world one person at a time. So great things coming. Sorry we're so tired tonight, and we will see you tomorrow. Love you.